If you stay, you will learn why every species in the galaxy fears Earth. The choice is yours. Commander, the channel-closed Captain Doyun stood on the bridge of the EDS Indomitable, flagship of Earth's Third Fleet. He was a compact man with gray hair and scars on his hands from years of combat experience. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. No one spoke unnecessarily. Every person knew their job and did it perfectly. Captain, we have confirmation that Commander Vorthal has rejected the final warning, the communications officer reported. The Krothak fleet is moving into battle formation. Doyen nodded slowly. He had expected this. The reports on Krothak culture suggested they would never back down from a fight. Pride mattered more than survival to them. It was a weakness, and weakness could be exploited. Signal to all ships, Doyen ordered. Execute battle plan Theta 7. Fast attack formation. Target their command vessels first. Authorization code Delta 49. Across the fleet, 29 other captains acknowledged the order. Human warships began moving, accelerating to speeds that would have torn apart vessels of any other species. Humans built their ships differently. Stronger hulls, better inertial dampeners, more powerful engines. Because humans themselves were built differently, able to withstand acceleration forces that would kill most aliens. On the Krothak flagship, alarms screamed as the human ship suddenly appeared on sensors, closing the distance at impossible speeds. How fast are they moving? Vorthal demanded. 0.7 light speed and still accelerating, Torvin replied, his voice shaking. That velocity should destroy them. The hull stress alone. They are Deathworlders, Kresh interrupted. Their bodies can handle forces that would kill us. They built their ships to match. The human fleet split into 3 groups, each moving in a different direction. It was a classic pack hunting tactic. Surround the prey. Attack from multiple angles. Keep them confused and unable to focus defense. Vorthal had commanded battles across a dozen star systems. He had fought pirates, rebels, and rival empires. But he had never seen ships move like this. The human vessels danced through space, changing direction without slowing down, performing maneuvers that violated every principle of safe navigation. All ships, fire at will, Vorthal ordered. Destroy them. The Krothak fleet opened fire. Plasma beams and missile swarms filled the space between the two forces. It was an impressive display of firepower, enough to vaporize a small moon. But the human ships were not where the Krothak aimed. They moved with precision that seemed impossible, as if they knew where each shot would be before it fired. Later analysis would show that human tactical computers could predict enemy firing patterns within milliseconds. But in the moment it looked like magic. Or like predators that had hunted for so long that anticipating their prey's movements was pure instinct. The first human attack wing reached the Krothak left flank. Instead of engaging in direct combat, they performed a maneuver called the Sting. Each ship fired a single precise shot at a specific target, then accelerated away at full speed. 7 Krothak vessels suddenly lost their main weapon systems. Not destroyed, just disabled. What are they doing? Vorthal roared. Why do they not press the attack? They are testing our defenses, Torvin realized. Learning our response patterns. This is reconnaissance, not assault. The second human wing attacked the right flank using the same tactic. More Krothak ships lost weapons or shields. The third wing went straight through the center of the Krothak formation, moving so fast that return fire missed completely. Captain Wu, commanding the second wing, spoke calmly to his crew. Good, we have their defensive algorithms mapped. Now we know where they cannot shoot. Time to get serious. He opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships execute pattern Hunter 7. Take out their engines. Let us ground these birds. The human fleet regrouped in less than 10 seconds and attacked again. This time they were not testing. This time they were hunting. Human pilots were trained from childhood on combat tactics. They ran simulations thousands of times. They studied historical battles going back thousands of years. They learned from every war humanity had ever fought. Every mistake ever made, every brilliant strategy ever conceived. And they were all volunteers. Every single one. People who had chosen to put themselves between innocent civilians and those who would harm them. The Krothak were warriors, but the humans were soldiers. There was a difference. 4 Krothak ships lost their engines in the first pass. 3 more in the second. The humans moved like a school of fish. Each ship part of a larger pattern, each pilot trusting their squad mates completely. They did not communicate much. They did not need to. They had trained together so long that they moved as one organism. Return fire, Vorthal commanded desperately. Focus all weapons on a single human ship. Overwhelm their defenses. The Krothak fleet concentrated fire on one human cruiser. For a moment, it looked like the tactic would work. The human ship's shields flickered under the massive barrage. Then two other human ships moved to protect it, positioning themselves to take hits while the damaged vessel retreated. The shields on the protecting ships held. Barely, but they held. They protect each other, Torvin observed. They coordinate defense as naturally as offense. Commander, we cannot fight an enemy that moves like this. Vorthal refused to accept defeat. We still outnumber them. We still have superior firepower. Continue the attack. But the battle was already turning. The Krothak had more ships, yes, but many of those ships were now disabled, drifting without engines or weapons. The human fleet, smaller but intact, moved through the battlefield like wolves through a herd of cattle. Captain Doyen watched the tactical display from the Indomitable's bridge. 12 Krothak ships disabled, 0 human ships destroyed. His fleet had taken damage, certainly. Shields were at 60% across most vessels, but no one was critically injured. No one was out of the fight. Signal from the diplomatic ship, communications reported. Jiho is requesting permission to broadcast. Granted, Doyen said. He knew what Jiho was going to do. They had discussed it before the battle began. Jiho's face appeared on every screen in the system, human and Krothak alike. He looked sad, tired, but determined. Commander Vorthal, you have now seen what Earth's military can do. We have disabled 12 of your ships. We could have destroyed them. We chose not to. Even now in the middle of battle, we choose restraint. This is not weakness. This is strength. The strength to hold back when we could unleash total destruction. He paused, letting his words sink in. But make no mistake. If you continue this fight, people will die. Your people will die. I do not want that. I came here to save the Villani, not to kill the Krothak. So I'm asking you one final time, surrender. Order your fleet to stand down. Accept a peace treaty. Leave this system and never return. And in exchange, everyone gets to go home alive. On the Krothak flagship, Vorthal stared at the screen. His bridge was in chaos. Officers shouted reports. Alarms blared. Damage control teams rushed to repair systems. And through the viewports, he could see human ships circling like sharks. Commander, we have lost another engine cluster, Torvin reported. If we stay, we will all be disabled within the hour. And then we will be at their mercy. Mercy, Vorthal repeated bitterly. From Deathworlders. They have shown mercy so far, Torvin pointed out. They could have killed thousands of our warriors. They chose not to. Perhaps they are not the monsters we thought, Kresh slammed his fist on a console. We are Krothak. We do not surrender. And if we do not, Torvin said quietly, we die, all of us. And for what, pride? This is not our home system. These are not our worlds. We came here to conquer the Villani because they were easy prey. But the humans are not easy prey. They are predators just like us, maybe better than us. Vorthal looked around his bridge. He saw the fear in his officers' eyes. Fear that the Krothak never admitted to feeling. Fear that came from facing an enemy they could not defeat. He had two choices. He could continue fighting and watch his entire fleet get destroyed. Or he could accept the humans' offer and live to fight another day. It was not really a choice at all. Open a channel, Vorthal said heavily. To all Krothak ships. The fleet waited for his order. Some hoped he would command one last glorious charge. Others prayed he would see reason. This is Commander Vorthal, he said slowly, each word painful. All ships cease fire. Stand down, we surrender. The chaos on the bridge stopped. Officers stared at their commander in shock. In the entire history of the Krothak Empire, no fleet had ever surrendered. Until now. Captain Doyen received the surrender and nodded. All ships cease fire. Hold positions but keep weapons hot. Maintain battle readiness in case this is a trick. But it was not a trick. Slowly, one by one, Krothak ships powered down their weapons. The battle was over. Jiho let out a long breath. Hana, who had been watching everything from the diplomatic ship, started crying. Not from fear this time. From relief. It worked, she whispered. You saved us. We gave them a choice, Jiho corrected gently. They made the right one. He opened a new channel, this one directed at the Krothak flagship. Commander Vorthal, I will be boarding your ship to discuss surrender terms. I will come alone and unarmed as I did before. I trust you will honor the rules of surrender. Vorthal's face appeared on HFY. The diplomatic ship climbed back through Tersimia's atmosphere. Hana piloted in silence, her hands still shaking. She kept glancing at Jiho, who sat in the co-pilot seat with his eyes closed, breathing deeply. He looked like he was meditating, but she could see the tension in his shoulders. Jiho, she said quietly, what is Protocol 7? He opened his eyes. The coldness she had seen on the surface was still there, but controlled now like a fire banked low. It is Earth's response to war crimes against civilian populations. When negotiation fails and atrocities are being committed, we are authorized to use military force to protect the innocent. But the Galactic Council said you could not bring military support. They said I could not bring it with me, Jiho corrected. They said nothing about calling for it after arrival. And the treaty allows defensive assistance to species under attack. The Council will not be happy, but they cannot deny that the Villani need immediate protection. Hana's communication console beeped. It was Captain Nari. Diplomatic vessel, what happened on the surface? Commander Vorthal is broadcasting threats. He says if you do not leave the system immediately, he will destroy all remaining Villani ships. Tell Captain Nari to begin evacuation, Jiho said calmly. Pull all Villani vessels back to maximum safe distance from the planet. A battle is coming. A battle? Nari's voice cracked with stress. You are one ship, unarmed. What can you possibly do? I have called for help, Jiho replied. Earth is sending a fleet. I recommend all Villani civilians retreat to designated safe zones. Things are about to become very dangerous. The channel went silent for a moment. Then Nari spoke again, her voice filled with desperate hope. How long until your fleet arrives? Jiho checked his wrist communicator, which was displaying data from a secure quantum channel. 3 hours and 42 minutes. That is impossible, Hana said. Earth is 6 sectors away. Even the fastest ships would take weeks to get here. Earth uses different technology than most species, Jiho explained. We do not rely on conventional faster-than-light drives. We use quantum-paired jump gates. We position them in strategic locations throughout the galaxy. When we need to move quickly, we activate the gates and jump directly to the destination. Hana stared at him. You have been preparing for this? We have been preparing for many possibilities, Jiho said. When the Villani first sent their distress signal 2 weeks ago, Earth began moving assets into position. We hoped a negotiation would work, but we prepared for the alternative. On the bridge of his flagship, Commander Vorthal watched the diplomatic ship return to orbit. His officers stood around him waiting for orders. One of them, a young warrior named Kresh, spoke up. Commander, should we destroy the human ship? He has threatened us. Vorthal rubbed his scarred jaw thoughtfully. No, not yet. I want to see what game he is playing. He claims Earth is sending a fleet, Kresh continued. Should we prepare for battle? Vorthal laughed. Earth is days away, even at maximum speed. The human is bluffing. He hopes to frighten us into retreating, but the Krothak do not frighten easily. His tactical officer, an older warrior named Torvin, looked worried. Commander, I have been reviewing the intelligence reports on humans. They are unpredictable. Their tactics are unconventional. Perhaps we should take the threat seriously. The humans are Deathworlders, yes, Vorthal admitted, but they are also soft. They make rules for their wars. They care about civilian casualties. They limit their own power because they fear becoming monsters. This makes them weak. We have no such limitations. Still, Torvin insisted, the human was very confident, and he broadcast his warning on an open channel. Every ship in the system heard it. If he is bluffing, it is a very bold bluff. Vorthal considered this. The human had shown courage, he had to admit. Coming here alone, speaking so directly, even insulting Krothak honor to their faces, that took strength. But one human, no matter how brave, could not challenge an entire fleet. Continue operations, Vorthal ordered, but put the fleet on alert. If Earth does send ships, we will crush them and teach the humans why the Krothak are feared across the galaxy. Jiho sat in the diplomatic ship, now safely distant from the Krothak fleet. Hana watched him work on his datapad, sending messages and reviewing tactical data. She had so many questions. Jiho, why did you insult them? You could have stayed polite. Maybe you could have negotiated something. He looked up from his work. His expression was sad. Hana, I saw what they did to your people on the surface. The prisoners. The destroyed city. The casual cruelty. Those are not the actions of an enemy that can be reasoned with. The Krothak believe that might makes right. They think the strong should dominate the weak. There is no compromise with that philosophy. But you are a diplomat, a peacemaker. I am, Jiho agreed. And I tried peace. I came here with an open hand and kind words. But the Krothak showed me that they do not want peace. They want conquest. They want suffering. So now I must try a different approach. Violence? Protection, Jiho corrected gently. There is a difference. I am not seeking to destroy the Krothak. I am seeking to protect the Villani. If the Krothak choose to leave peacefully, no one needs to die. But if they continue to hurt your people, then yes, we will stop them by force. Hana looked down at her hands. I am afraid. The Villani have never fought a war. We do not know how to process this kind of conflict. We feel the suffering but cannot make it stop. That is why Earth is coming, Jiho said. Because we do know how to fight. We have fought for our entire history. We understand war in a way most species do not, and we have learned to control it, to direct it, to use it only when necessary. The galaxy sees us as dangerous, and they are right. But we are dangerous in the way a guard dog is dangerous. We protect those who need protection. His communicator beeped. A message appeared on the screen. Jiho read it and nodded. The fleet has emerged from the jump gate. They are holding position 3 light hours away. Captain Wu reports all ships ready for combat operations. 3 light hours, Hana repeated. That is still very far away. For most species, yes, Jiho said. But human ships can move much faster than standard drives allow. We build for speed and maneuverability. When the time comes, they will arrive quickly. He opened a new communication channel, this one directed at Commander Vorthal's flagship. Commander Vorthal, this is Kang Jiho. I am sending you this final warning. Earth's 3rd Fleet has arrived in the system. They consist of 30 warships with full combat capability. I am asking you one last time to withdraw from Villani space. Leave now and no one needs to die. Stay and face the consequences of your choice. On the Krothak flagship, alarms began screaming. Torvin stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Commander, I am detecting quantum signatures. Multiple ships. They are already here. Vorthal rushed to the display. That is impossible. The nearest Earth forces are days away. They use some kind of jump technology, Torvin explained, his voice rising. They bypassed normal space entirely. Commander, they have 30 warships holding position at the edge of the system. Kresh laughed nervously. 30 ships against our 50? Those are not good odds for them. But Torvin was analyzing the sensor data, and what he saw made his blood run cold. Commander, these are not standard warships. They are smaller than ours, but much faster. And their energy signatures. I have never seen reactors that powerful in ships that size. They can move at speeds that should tear a ship apart. Vorthal felt something he had not experienced in many years. Uncertainty. The human had not been bluffing. Earth had somehow positioned a fleet in the system without any advance warning. That level of strategic planning was impressive. And concerning. Open a channel to the human ship, Vorthal ordered. Jiho's face appeared on the main screen. He looked calm, peaceful even. But Vorthal could see the steel underneath. You are very clever, human, Vorthal said. You positioned your fleet before you even arrived. You were never here to negotiate. You came to threaten us. No, Jiho replied softly. I came to give you every chance to avoid bloodshed. I genuinely hoped you would listen to reason. But I am also not naive. I knew there was a possibility you would refuse. So yes, I made preparations. That is not a threat. That is prudence. You think 30 ships can defeat 50 Krothak warships? I think 30 human ships crewed by soldiers from a Class 12 Deathworld will do whatever is necessary to protect innocent civilians, Jiho said. I think you have never faced an enemy like us before. Most species in the galaxy evolved on peaceful worlds. They learned technology before they learned war. But humans learned war first. We perfected it over thousands of years. We know every trick, every tactic, every strategy. And we are very, very good at it. Vorthal felt anger rising. You dare lecture me about war? The Krothak have conquered 17 species. And how many of those species actually fought back? Jiho asked quietly. How many were warriors? The Villani are pacifists. The species you conquered before them were traders, artists, scientists. You have never faced a true predator species. You have never fought someone who actually wanted to fight. He leaned closer to the camera. I am giving you 4 hours to begin withdrawing from this system. Take your ships and leave. If you do, no one dies today. The council chamber was a massive circular room with seats arranged in ascending rings. Representatives from 43 species sat in their designated areas, each behind force fields adjusted for their specific atmospheric needs. At the center stood the speaker's platform, where Ambassador Yuna waited her turn to address the assembly. The debate had been going for 2 hours. Every speaker said the same thing in different ways. The Villani situation was tragic, but intervention was impossible. The Krothak were too powerful. The risk was too great. Someone else should handle it. Anyone but them. Councillor Vex of the Drexen Commonwealth spoke in his mechanical translator voice. The Villani chose to settle in that sector knowing the risks. They built no defenses. They trained no soldiers. This is the consequence of their choices. Several councillors made sounds of agreement. Ambassador Tal of the Sulfari Collective added, "The Krothak have never attacked council member species. If we interfere, we become their enemies. Is it worth risking billions of lives for one species we barely know?" More agreement rippled through the chamber. Yuna listened to everything. Her face showed no emotion. She stood perfectly still, her hands folded in front of her. Several councillors glanced at her nervously. Humans were difficult to read, and their stillness felt like the quiet before a storm. Finally, the speaker called on her. "Ambassador Yuna of Earth, you have the floor." Yuna walked to the center platform. She did not rush. She did not hesitate. She simply moved with the careful precision that all humans possessed, even the peaceful ones. "Thank you, Speaker," she said. Her voice was soft but clear. "I have listened to everyone's concerns. I understand the fear. The Krothak are formidable warriors, but I must remind this council of something important." She paused and looked around the chamber, making eye contact with as many representatives as she could. When Earth requested admission to the galactic community, we were denied 3 times. The council said we were too violent, too dangerous, too unpredictable. We came from a death world. We were predators. How could civilized species trust us? Some councillors shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Earth accepted those judgments, Yuna continued. We agreed to strict conditions. Monitoring of our military, restrictions on our territorial expansion, regular psychological evaluations of our diplomats. We accepted all of it because we wanted to prove that we could be part of something greater than ourselves. She clasped her hands behind her back. The council finally accepted us on one condition, that we would use our unique nature to help species who could not help themselves, that our capacity for violence would be channeled into protection, not conquest. We agreed, we gave our word, and now the first real test of that promise is here, and the council wants us to do nothing. The chamber was silent. "The Villani are dying," Yuna said simply. "They cannot fight back. They cannot defend themselves. They are exactly the kind of species we promised to protect. So I am informing this council that Earth will respond to their distress signal. We will send assistance." Councillor Vex stood up. "Ambassador, you cannot commit Earth to military action without council approval. It violates the treaty. The treaty allows defensive assistance to species under attack." Yuna replied calmly. "The Villani requested help. We are providing it. We are not declaring war on the Krothak. We are simply answering a distress call, which is the right of any spacefaring civilization." "You are sending warships?" Tal asked, alarmed. "We are sending one person," Yuna said, "a diplomat, to negotiate with the Krothak and attempt a peaceful resolution." The chamber erupted in confused conversation. One person? One human? What could that possibly accomplish? "Who are you sending?" the speaker asked. "Kang Jiho," Yuna replied. "He is our most experienced peace negotiator. He has resolved 17 conflicts without violence. He has never failed to reach a diplomatic solution. But he is human," Vex said carefully. "He is from a death world. The Krothak will see him as a threat. Jiho is our calmest representative," Yuna assured them. "He meditates for 2 hours every morning. He practices patience as a way of life. He has not raised his voice in anger in over 10 years. He eats no meat. He does yoga. He writes poetry in his spare time. If anyone can negotiate peace with the Krothak, it is Jiho." The council members looked at each other uncertainly. They had seen humans before, of course. Even the calm ones were unsettling. But perhaps this was the best option. One diplomat could not start a war. And if he failed, well, the council could say they tried. "Very well," the speaker said after a long pause. Ambassador Yuna, you may send your diplomat, but he goes alone, unarmed, and without military support. Any violation of these terms will result in Earth's immediate expulsion from the galactic community. Understood, Yuna said with a small bow. Thank you for your consideration. She left the chamber without another word. Behind her, the counselors continued debating, trying to convince themselves they had made the right decision. Minho met Yuna in the corridor outside. Is Jiho really our calmest diplomat? Yes, Yuna said. Will that be enough? Yuna smiled slightly. Jiho is calm because he understands exactly how dangerous he is. He chooses peace because he knows what war costs. The Krothak will learn the difference. 3 days later, Kang Jiho arrived at Counselor Station Alpha. He was a tall man with black hair showing streaks of gray at the temples. He wore simple clothes, loose pants, a comfortable shirt, and soft boots. He carried one small bag and walked with an easy, relaxed stride. The council members who saw him arrive noticed several things immediately. First, his eyes tracked every movement in the corridor with precise attention. Second, his breathing was controlled and even, like someone who exercised regularly. Third, despite his calm demeanor, he moved with a fluid grace that suggested excellent physical conditioning. When he met Yuna in her office, he bowed respectfully. Ambassador, thank you for this opportunity to serve. The Villani are desperate, Yuna said. The Krothak have destroyed dozens of their ships and killed millions of civilians. Are you prepared for what you might see? I have read all the reports, Jiho replied quietly. I understand the situation. I will do everything possible to negotiate a peaceful withdrawal. And if negotiation fails? Jiho met her eyes. Then I will request additional assistance. But I believe the Krothak can be reasoned with. Every species has some concept of honor, some line they will not cross. I just need to find theirs, Yuna nodded. A Villani navigator named Hana will pilot your ship. She volunteered despite being terrified of humans. Be kind to her. Of course, Jiho said with a gentle smile. The diplomatic vessel was small and unarmed, designed for speed rather than combat. Hana waited in the cockpit, her blue skin paler than usual. When Jiho entered, she flinched slightly, then tried to hide it. Hello, Hana, Jiho said warmly. Thank you for agreeing to guide me. I know this is difficult for you. Hana's large eyes studied him carefully. She had never been this close to a human before. The files said humans were predators, but Jiho seemed nice. Still, she noticed the way he moved, the alertness in his posture, the strength in his hands. I will do my duty, she said softly. My people are dying. If there is any chance you can help them, I will face my fear. That is very brave, Jiho said sincerely. I promise I will do everything I can. As they prepared for departure, Jiho unpacked his small bag. Hana watched him arrange meditation cushions, a few books of poetry, and a portable tea set. He also had a datapad filled with information about Krothak culture, which he began reading immediately. The journey would take 3 days. During that time, Hana slowly realized that Jiho was genuinely peaceful. He never spoke harshly. He never made sudden movements. He asked her about Villani art and music and listened with real interest. He shared his tea and taught her a simple meditation technique for managing fear. On the 3rd day, as they approached Tersimia, Hana asked the question that had been bothering her. Jiho, if you are so peaceful, how can you help us against the Krothak? They only understand strength. Jiho looked at her for a long moment. Hana, being peaceful does not mean being helpless. It means choosing when and how to act. I hope the Krothak will accept reason, but if they do not... He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. Hana saw something shift in his eyes just for a second, something old and hard and patient, something that had hunted across grasslands for days without rest, that had survived ice ages and plagues and wars beyond counting. Then it was gone, and Jiho was smiling again, gentle and calm, but Hana had seen it, and she understood why Yuna had sent him. The diplomatic ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Tersimia system. Hana's hands trembled on the controls as she saw what waited for them. 50 Krothak warships hung in orbit around the planet like predators circling wounded prey. Each ship was massive, covered in armor plates and weapon batteries. They looked like they were built for one purpose only, destruction. Oh no, Hana whispered. There are so many. Jiho stood behind her, looking at the tactical display. His expression remained calm. but his eyes moved across the screen quickly, cataloging every ship position, every weapon type, every potential threat. It was an unconscious habit, the result of millions of years of evolution training humans to assess danger instantly. "Contact Captain Nari," he said quietly. "Let her know we have arrived." The communication channel opened. Captain Nari's face appeared on the screen. She looked exhausted. Her blue skin had faded to almost gray. Dark circles marked her eyes. When she saw Jiho, confusion crossed her features. "You are the help the Galactic Council sent?" she asked. "One human?" "One diplomat," Jiho corrected gently. "I am here to negotiate with the Krothak, to convince them to withdraw peacefully." Nari laughed, but it was a broken sound. "The Krothak do not negotiate. They take what they want. They kill anyone who resists. For 3 weeks I have watched them murder my people. They destroy our evacuation ships for sport." "Then they are bullies, not warriors," Jiho said. "And bullies can be dealt with. I just need to speak with their commander." Before Nari could respond, the ship's communication system crackled to life. A deep, harsh voice filled the cabin, speaking in Galactic Standard with a thick accent. "Unknown vessel. This is Commander Vorthal of the Krothak Imperial Fleet. You are entering a military zone. State your purpose or be destroyed." Hana looked at Jiho with wide, frightened eyes. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, then activated the microphone. "Commander Vorthal, my name is Kang Jiho. I am a diplomatic representative from Earth. I am here to discuss terms for a peaceful resolution to the conflict with the Villani people." There was silence for several seconds. Then Vorthal laughed. It was a cruel sound that echoed through the speakers. "Earth? I have heard of your species. Deathworlders with soft hearts who pretend to be civilized. You think one human can stop the Krothak Empire? This will be entertaining." The main view screen flickered and showed Vorthal's face. He was massive, with thick gray skin covered in battle scars. His eyes were small and dark. His jaw was wide and filled with sharp teeth. He wore heavy armor that made him look even larger. Behind him, other Krothak warriors moved through the bridge of his ship, each one built for combat. "I do not seek to stop your empire," Jiho said calmly. "I only ask that you cease your attacks on the Villani. They are a peaceful people. They pose no threat to you. There is no honor in destroying those who cannot fight back." Vorthal leaned closer to the camera. "Honor? You speak to me of honor? We are Krothak. We have conquered 17 species. We take what we want because we are strong. The Villani are weak. The weak deserve to be crushed. This is the law of nature." "Then you misunderstand nature," Jiho replied. His voice remained soft, but something in his tone made Hana glance at him nervously. "In nature, predators do not waste energy killing prey that offers no benefit. You are not hunting for food. You are not defending territory. You are simply causing suffering. That is not the behavior of warriors. That is the behavior of cowards." The Krothak bridge went silent. Several warriors stopped what they were doing and stared at Vorthal. No one spoke to their commander that way. No one dared. Vorthal's face darkened with anger. "You dare insult me? I could destroy your tiny ship with one shot." "You could," Jiho agreed. "But I am unarmed. I came here alone. If you kill me, you prove my point. A true warrior does not fear words." For a long moment, Vorthal said nothing. Then he smiled, showing all his sharp teeth. "I like you, human. You have courage. Very well. I will grant you one chance to see what we have done to this world. Then you will understand why the Krothak cannot be stopped. After that, you will leave and never return. If you refuse, I will destroy you and every Villani ship in orbit." "I accept," Jiho said immediately. "Thank you for your consideration." The channel closed. Hana turned to Jiho, her voice shaking. "What are you doing?" "He is playing with us. He will kill us once we reach the surface." "No," Jiho said thoughtfully. "He is curious. Krothak culture values strength and courage. By coming here alone and speaking directly, I have earned a small amount of respect. He wants to show me his power. He wants me to return to Earth and tell them that the Krothak are unstoppable." "Are they?" Jiho looked at her for a moment. "No." The diplomatic ship descended through Tersimia's atmosphere under Krothak escort. 2 fighter craft flanked them on either side, weapons armed and ready. They guided Jiho and Hana to the capital city, or what remained of it. What Jiho saw from the air made his jaw tighten. The city was in ruins. Beautiful towers that had stood for centuries were now broken stumps. Gardens and parks were burned to ash. The streets were empty except for the occasional Krothak patrol. The Villani who remained hid in basements and bunkers, terrified to come out. They landed in what used to be a central plaza. Now it was a staging area for Krothak ground forces. Soldiers moved equipment around, laughing and joking. Some were target practicing on the remains of Villani statues. Jiho and Hana stepped off the ship. Immediately, 6 Krothak warriors surrounded them. Each one was twice Jiho's size and carried weapons that looked like they could tear a person in half. They looked at Jiho with amusement, the way a cat looks at a mouse. A Krothak officer approached. His armor was decorated with symbols that indicated high rank. "I am Captain Gorath. Commander Vorthal ordered me to show you our work. Follow me." They walked through the ruins. Gorath pointed out the destruction with pride. This building was their government center. "We knocked it down in 3 minutes. That area was a hospital. We burned it because they were treating resistance fighters. Over there was a school. We destroyed it because Villani children needed to learn that the Krothak rule now." Jiho said nothing. He simply walked and observed. His face remained calm, but Hana noticed that his breathing had changed. It was slower now, more controlled. His hands were relaxed at his sides, but his fingers moved slightly as if counting. They reached a large open area where Krothak soldiers had gathered. In the center was a group of Villani civilians, maybe 30 of them, huddled together in fear. They were thin and dirty, clearly starving. "These are prisoners," Gorath explained. "We keep them as workers. They clean our ships, prepare our food, dispose of waste. When they are too weak to work, we release them." He laughed. "Release them to the wilderness with no food or shelter. Most die within days." One of the Villani, an elderly male, looked up at Jiho with desperate eyes. "Please," he whispered in broken Galactic Standard. "Please help us." Jiho looked at him. Then he looked at the other prisoners. Then he looked at Gorath and the Krothak soldiers who were laughing at the old Villani's plea. Something changed in Jiho's eyes. Hana saw it happen. The gentleness that had been there for 3 days vanished, replaced by something ancient and cold. Jiho's posture shifted subtly. His weight balanced differently. His eyes tracked every Krothak soldier in the area, noting positions, weapons, weak points. He looked like what he was, a predator that had decided to stop pretending. "I have seen enough," Jiho said quietly. His voice was still calm, but it had an edge now. "Thank you for the tour, Captain Gorath." "It was very informative," Gorath sneered. "Do you understand now, human? The Krothak are unstoppable. We do as we please. No one can challenge us." "I understand perfectly," Jiho replied. "I understand that you are bullies who prey on the helpless. I understand that you have no honor. And I understand that this ends now." Gorath's sneer faded. "What did you say?" "I tried peace," Jiho said, still in that eerily calm voice. "I came here unarmed. I spoke with respect. I offered negotiation. But you chose to show me torture and slavery. You chose to mock suffering. You made your choice. Now I will make mine." He tapped his wrist communicator. "Jiho to Ambassador Yuna. Negotiations have failed. The Krothak are committing war crimes against civilian populations. I am formally requesting implementation of Protocol 7. Gorath's hand moved toward his weapon. "You threaten us?" Jiho looked at him with eyes that held no warmth. "No, I'm giving you a warning. In 4 hours, help will arrive. Real help, not a diplomat, not a negotiator. An Earth military fleet, and they will not be calm like me. I strongly suggest you begin evacuating the system immediately." Gorath laughed and drew his weapon, a massive plasma rifle. The other Krothak soldiers did the same, surrounding Jiho and Hana. "You are one human," Gorath growled. "We have 50 warships in orbit. You have nothing." Jiho smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "I am one human, yes. But I am also the warning. I am what Earth sends when we want to give you a chance to leave peacefully. What comes next is what we send when peace fails." He turned and walked back toward the diplomatic ship. "Come, Hana, we should return to orbit. This planet is about to become a war zone." The alarm screamed through the control room of Defense Station Omega. Captain Nari pressed her thin, blue-tinted fingers against the display screen, watching another evacuation ship explode in the distance. The bright flash faded quickly, leaving only debris and the cold silence of space. "How many?" she asked quietly. 43,000 souls on that transport," her second officer replied, his voice shaking. "That makes 200,000 civilians lost in the past week." Nari closed her eyes. The Villani were not made for war. Their home world, Valaris Prime, had no large predators, no harsh seasons, no diseases that killed indiscriminately. For 10,000 years, her people had lived in peace, developing art, music, and philosophy. They built ships to explore the stars, to make friends with other species, to share knowledge and beauty. Then the Krothak came. The enemy warships hung in orbit like dark stones, their weapons firing with casual efficiency. They destroyed anything that moved: evacuation transports, medical ships, even the agricultural platforms that grew food for the colonies. The Krothak wanted the planet, and they wanted the Villani gone. Nari had tried everything. Her defense station had the most advanced shields in the sector. Her weapons could track 1,000 targets at once. But she could not think like a warrior. None of her people could. Evolution had not given them that gift. When she planned defensive strategies, her mind went blank. The concepts felt foreign, wrong, like trying to breathe underwater. "Captain, another wave incoming," Tactical Officer Darrow announced. 15 Krothak fighters targeting the civilian shelters on the southern continent. Nari wanted to scream, but her biology would not allow it. The Villani had no anger, no rage, no aggression hormones in their blood. When faced with violence, they could only feel sadness and confusion. "Redirect all defense drones to intercept," she ordered. "Calculate the optimal shield configuration for maximum civilian protection." The computer worked for 3 seconds. "Configuration will save 82% of civilians in the target zone. 18% will perish, 18%. Another 70,000 lives." Nari made the order anyway because it was better than losing everyone. The defense drones moved into position, their weapons firing at the incoming Krothak fighters. They destroyed 3. The other 12 broke through and rained fire on the shelters below. The station sensors recorded every death, every voice that went silent. "We cannot hold them," Darrow said softly. "Captain, we must consider full evacuation of Tersimia. If we stay, we all die." Nari looked at the planet below. 3 billion Villani lived there. Artists, teachers, children who had never seen violence until a month ago. Where would they go? The other colony worlds were also under attack. The Villani coalition was falling apart system by system. "Send another request to the Galactic Council," Nari said. "Tell them we need help. Tell them the Krothak are committing genocide." "Captain, we have sent 47 requests," Darrow reminded her. No one responds. No one wants to fight the Krothak Empire. Nari understood. The Krothak had conquered 17 species in the past century. They were warriors bred for combat, trained from childhood to kill. Their empire expanded through fear and overwhelming force. Most civilizations surrendered when the Krothak arrived. Those who resisted were destroyed. But the Villani had nothing to surrender. They were pacifists. They had no weapons to hand over, no military secrets to share. The Krothak did not want their compliance. They wanted their worlds. "Then we send a general distress signal," Nari decided. "To everyone. Every species in communication range. Someone must hear us. Someone must care." Darrow worked at his console, preparing the broadcast. What should the message say? Nari thought for a long moment. "Tell them we are dying. Tell them we are peaceful people who have never hurt anyone. Tell them we are asking any civilization, any species to please help us. We will pay any price. We will accept any terms. We just want to live." The message went out on all frequencies, transmitted through every relay station in the sector. It would take hours to reach the nearest civilizations, days to reach the distant ones. Nari did not know if anyone would answer. She did not know if anyone could answer. The message traveled through space, passing dead stations and empty colonies. It reached the mining operations of the Sulfari, who read it and locked their doors tighter. It reached the trade hub of the Centauri, who deleted it immediately. It reached the military outposts of the Drexen, who marked it as unactionable. Then it reached Earth. The blue-green planet sat on the outer edge of the galactic community, barely noticed by the older civilizations. Earth was classified as a Class 12 death world in the galactic database. Most species who read the classification felt sick. Class 12 meant the planet actively tried to kill its inhabitants. Extreme weather, deadly predators, diseases that mutated faster than medicine could cure them. Gravity so strong that most aliens needed mechanical assistance to even stand on the surface. The dominant species of Earth, humans, were marked with red warning symbols in every galactic travel guide. Persistence predators, binocular vision, omnivorous diet including meat, high aggression potential, extreme endurance, capable of violence even against their own species. Most aliens avoided Earth. Those who visited did so cautiously, never leaving the designated diplomatic zones. Ambassador Una sat in her office at the United Earth Embassy on Counselor Station Alpha when the distress signal arrived. She was a small woman by human standards, barely 5 feet tall with gray hair pulled back in a simple bun. She wore traditional diplomatic robes and soft shoes that made no sound when she walked. The other species found her terrifying anyway. Una read the message from the Villani 3 times. Her assistant, a young man named Minho, stood in the doorway. "The Galactic Council is convening in 1 hour," Minho said. They received the same message. "They want to discuss it." "They have been discussing it for weeks," Una replied calmly. "While the Villani die, what can we do? The Krothek Empire is powerful. We are new to the galactic community. If we intervene, we risk making enemies." Una stood and smoothed her robes. "The Villani are innocent. They are being murdered, and we have the ability to help them. That makes it our responsibility." Minho looked uncomfortable. "The Council will argue that the Krothak conflict is an internal matter. They will say intervention violates the non-interference protocols. Then I will remind them," Una said quietly, "that Earth joined the galactic community on the promise that we would protect those who could not protect themselves. We were told that civilization meant standing together against tyranny. If that was a lie, then we should leave the Council and handle this ourselves." She walked past Minho toward the Council chambers. Her footsteps were soft, her expression calm. But Minho had worked with humans long enough to recognize the look in her eyes. It was the same look predators got right before the hunt began. The Galactic Council was about to learn something important about Deathworlders. They were dangerous not because they loved violence. They were dangerous because they understood it completely and knew exactly when to use it.